Okay, I am going to go over the notes with you. I'd like for you to notice that I've got the slideshow pulled up in one half of my screen and the notes pulled up in another half of my screen. That's a great idea for you guys if you're doing the notes digitally. That way you can watch the slideshow, go through the slideshow, and type the answers as you're getting it. I'm just going to quickly read through the slideshow and show you where to get the information to fill out the notes. So when you click on this handout, the handout link here, this will come up for you. It'll make a copy of the notes for you. You're going to turn that into Google Classroom later once you've finished all the assignments for this week. The learning targets for this lesson are: I can give examples of how plants maintain homeostasis by responding to internal and external stimuli. I can identify the different tropic growth responses of plants, including hydrotropism, thigmotropism, phototropism, and geotropism. Gravitropism. Gravitropism is another word for geotropism. I can identify different plant responses to the internal stimulus of water, including seedling emergence, high turgor pressure, and low turgor pressure. I can identify that forces, including water pressure and gravity, are stimuli that trigger plant response. So we're looking at these four different tropisms: turgor pressure, which is water pressure, which is a force, and also that the force of gravity has the response of geotropism. So here we have tropism and turgor pressure are our new vocab words. Homeostasis, stimulus, and response are old vocab. You're going to take that information and fill it in at the correct spot here. So here's your word bank, also here's your word bank, and then this is where you're going to fill it in. I'm going to read the tropism and turgor pressure for you. Tropism is a plant growth response. Plants grow in different ways when stimulated by different external stimuli. Turgor pressure is the amount of water pressure in a plant cell. Turgor pressure is an internal stimulus. So turgor pressure is an internal stimulus and growth is a response. So we'll look at that in just a minute. All right, so tropisms overview. Tropisms are plant responses to external stimuli. So these are the stimulus. This external stimuli could be gravity, light, water, or touch. The response is called a tropism. And the tropic response can either be growth toward or away from the stimulus. If the tropic response is growth toward the stimulus, it's called a positive taxis response. If the growth is away from the stimulus, it's called a negative taxis response. And different parts of the plant exhibit different taxis to stimuli. So for example, if the external stimulus is light, then the plant is going to, the top part of the plant, the leaves are going to grow toward the light, and the roots are not going to grow towards the light. They're going to grow away from the light. So the leaves are showing a positive taxis and the roots are showing a negative taxis. You're going to watch this video. It's a pretty cool video. It shows different time lapses of different tropisms. Plants do respond by movement, and the movement is in their growth. Sometimes it's really hard to see that because it happens so slowly. So the time-lapse videos are pretty cool. While you're watching this video, the video is going to define phototropism, geotropism, and hydrotropism for you. So you're going to watch the video. You may need to stop it a few times to get these definitions. The next slide is having you watch these three videos and answer this question: can you determine the stimulus and thigmotropism? So it's telling you that each one of these are showing the thigmotropic response of three different plants. So you'll watch this video, it's showing thigmotropic response. This plant is showing thigmotropic response, and this plant is showing thigmotropic response. After you watch that, you're trying to figure out what is the stimulus. So whatever you think the stimulus is, you're going to write it right here. The next four slides are these slides right here. So there's, this slide is the slide where you're recording this answer here. This is a summary of the different tropic. Over here are responses. So here are the stimulus, and here's the name of the response. So the stimulus, when the stimulus is light, the tropic response is called phototropism. When the stimulus is gravity, the tropic response is called geotropism. When the stimulus is water, the growth response is called hydrotropism. And when the stimulus is touch, the growth response is called thigmotropism. These next 4 slides are slides where you're going to ID here. Notice that this says it's got a pair deck option. We're not using that. You're just answering the questions on the slides right here. So you're just trying to determine what tropism is pictured here. It says the tree is bent and the branches are growing out above the water to avoid being in the shade. So if it's avoiding the shade and growing into the light, what tropism is that? You write that answer down. For picture 2, the tropism that's being pictured here is the plant growing up, bending to grow up. Here we have some roots that are growing toward the body of water here. So what tropism is that? And here we have a vine growing up the side of a building. So what tropism is that? So here you're identifying what tropisms you think those plants are showing in these 4 blanks right here. On this slide, you're going to watch this video. In this video, it's about turgor pressure. So the stimulus and turgor pressure is the amount of water that's inside the cells of plants. The response is the cell structure and the plant structure based on the stimulus of the amount of water pressure. So when the amount of water pressure is high, then you have an upright turgid plant. When the amount of water pressure is low, you have a wilted, sad-looking plant. So make sure that you watch that video that explains it a little bit more thoroughly, and this is a cool time-lapse example of high and low turgor, or of low turgor pressure turning into high turgor pressure. This slide is the slide that you're going to answer. You're going to answer right here. So here you'll fill out what the stimulus is, and then you'll give me the name of the response. This is the picture of the response. What is the name of that response? And I'm just looking for what the plant looks like. So you're just describing the plant. Here, you're going to tell me about the water pressure. The stimulus is the water pressure inside the plant cell here, and here you're just describing what the plant looks like here. And then finally, the last subject is seedling emergence. So here we're looking at seedling emergence. That response is a response due to a combination of an internal and external stimulus. So the stimulus, there has to be 2 stimuli for seedling emergence. The external is the warm and wet growing conditions. The internal is the amount of water absorbed by the seed. So the seed has to absorb enough water to have really high turgor pressure so that there's enough force for the seedling to sprout through whatever it's growing in. So here you're just identifying the stimuli and describing the response. Seedlings do have quite a bit of force from the turgor pressure that is present in the seed when it sprouts, and also the force is helped out by the root structure. This is a cool little experimental video that shows you how some seeds can actually sprout even through cement. And this is the slide that's kind of reminding you to fill out this row here. And then these are the answers to some of your notes so that you can go back and double check. So it's a pretty quick and easy set of notes for this week.